The rise of Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's youngest military leader. The storm over the Sahel. The winds of change are blowing across West Africa. In recent years, the Sahel region has witnessed a wave of military coups that have shaken the foundations of political power. From Mali to Niger and now Burkina Faso, young military officers have stepped forward, claiming that civilian governments have failed their people. At the center of this transformation stands one man, a young artillery officer who rose from the battlefield to the presidency. His name is Ibrahim Traoré. At just 34 years old, Traoré became one of the youngest heads of state in the world. But his rise was not accidental. It was born from crisis, war, and the collapse of political trust. To understand how Traoré seized power, we must first travel back to the roots of Burkina Faso's instability. A country under siege, Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation in West Africa, once known for its stability, began facing a deadly threat around 2015. Militant groups linked to Islamic State and Al-Qaeda spread across the Sahel. Villages were attacked, schools were burned, farmers fled their land, entire communities were displaced. Soon, the government in the capital, Ouagadougou, began losing control over large parts of the country. By 2022, nearly 40% of Burkina Faso was outside government authority. Thousands of civilians had been killed. Millions had fled their homes. The army was exhausted, but within the military ranks, anger was growing. Soldiers complained that they were sent into battle without proper equipment, intelligence, or support. For many troops fighting on the front lines, the political leadership appeared distant and ineffective. The frustration was about to explode. The fall of the civilian government at the time, Burkina Faso was led by President Roch-Marc Christian Kaboré. Kaboré had been democratically elected, but as jihadist violence intensified, public confidence in his government collapsed. Mass protests erupted across the country. Citizens demanded security. They demanded leadership. Inside the military, officers began to believe that the civilian government had lost control. In January 2022, the army intervened. A group of soldiers led by Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba overthrew President Kaboré. The coup was justified as a necessary step to save the nation. Damiba promised a new beginning. He vowed to restore security and defeat the insurgents. For a moment, many people believed the military could succeed where politicians had failed. But the optimism would not last long. A second coup despite Damiba's promises. Attacks by insurgent groups continued. Villages kept falling, soldiers kept dying. The security crisis grew worse. Many frontline officers began to believe that Damiba had become too focused on politics and diplomacy rather than battlefield strategy. Among those officers was a young artillery captain. His name is Ibrahim Traoré. Traoré had served in dangerous combat zones in northern Burkina Faso. He had seen the war firsthand, and like many younger soldiers, he believed stronger action was needed. In September 2022, tensions inside the army reached a breaking point. On September 30th, Captain Traoré and his allies launched another coup. Gunfire echoed through Ouagadougou. Military units seized key government installations. Within hours, Damiba was removed from power. Burkina Faso had experienced its second coup in just 8 months. Traoré soon declared himself leader of the transitional government. A new era had begun. The young captain, at only 34 years old, Ibrahim Traoré became the youngest leader in Africa. But unlike traditional politicians, Traoré projected the image of a soldier leader. He often appeared in military uniform. He spoke directly to the public. He promised to reorganize the army and reclaim territory from insurgents. Many citizens, frustrated with years of insecurity, welcomed the change. But Traoré's rise also tapped into a deeper historical memory in Burkina Faso. The memory of a revolutionary leader. A man whose legacy still inspires many Africans. His name was Thomas Sankara, the shadow of Thomas Sankara. In the 1980s, Thomas Sankara ruled Burkina Faso after a military revolution. He promoted African self-reliance. He fought corruption. He rejected foreign domination. Although Sankara was assassinated in Thomas Sankara assassination, his legacy remained powerful. As Traoré rose to power, supporters began drawing comparisons between the two leaders. Both were young military officers. Both spoke about sovereignty and national dignity, and both challenged foreign influence in African politics. These comparisons helped fuel Traoré's popularity across the continent. The geopolitical shift, another major factor behind Traoré's rise, was growing resentment toward foreign military involvement. For years, the former colonial power France had maintained troops in the Sahel to help fight insurgents. But many people in Burkina Faso believed the French presence had failed to bring security. Protests erupted. Crowds demanded the withdrawal of French forces. Soon after Traoré took power, French troops were asked to leave the country. Some protesters even waved flags of Russia, signaling a desire for new international partnerships. This shift reflected a broader geopolitical change happening across the Sahel. Military governments in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso began distancing themselves from Western alliances. A new political landscape was emerging. A continent watching today, Ibrahim Traoré has become one of the most talked about leaders in Africa. To his supporters, he represents resistance to foreign influence, a return to African sovereignty, decisive leadership during crisis. To his critics, however, he is another military ruler who came to power through force rather than democracy. The future of Burkina Faso remains uncertain. The war against insurgents continues. The challenges facing the country are enormous. But one thing is clear. The rise of Ibrahim Traoré is part of a larger story unfolding across Africa. A story of young leaders, frustrated soldiers, and societies searching for security, dignity, and independence. And in the heart of the Sahel, that story is still being written. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave comments below. See you in the next video.